Jamie?
I mean, this is maybe not so much a summer thing, but I guess it could be getting information about this out too. Things like orientation. Maybe not even have a table, but orientation for school or beginning of the semesters, letting people know. ASUM is going to start doing a program where they've got maps going out, like where your bus route is, like what your ward is. And it might be cool to get like this.
Well, I'll call Kristen. Okay.
One of Dr. Snively's graduate students worked with our neighborhood council while he was kind of did his thesis on city planning, and he used our neighborhood council as a model when we were developing the infrastructure.
Nice.
At the geography department, we've kind of got some contacts there.
Yeah, and I'd like to, this summer utilize interns to do general neighborhood council outreach, but also if there's specific things you have going on, letting me know so that I can also advertise those and the neighborhood office can supervise the interns, do all the intern paperwork, but it's really up to the neighborhood councils to provide information to the intern. And I'll check in with them weekly and meet with them weekly and that kind of stuff. So it's not another item for you to typically, to have to hold on to, except for that you just get extra help. But I need to know what you need help with if you want your own intern in your neighborhood. Because we'll do recruitment for all kinds and get it out there. Go to volunteer fairs and stuff like that in the fall. So really think about your next year and what you might be doing. Fall's a really good time to get a lot of interns. We have the volunteer fair and we can definitely staff that and go out and see if we can find some. And the city's very happy with interns, so the more we get, the better. Happy they are.
In our case, our district is so new, it'd be nice to know even the names of the subdivisions. Who would know that?
Office of Planning and Grants.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Well, I would just say I got here really late because I was working on a neighborhood project. So it just got approved at Home Resources, my sponsor.
Oh, that's okay.
So I got here late, so I didn't catch all of this. But I have been on board for years, and I would just say I've always wanted some sort of orientation and some sort of help in how to run meetings, how to get people more involved. So I applaud your effort here.
Thank you.
It's really needed, and it's needed not only on this level of the neighborhoods, but I am an ex-historic preservation board member, and we never had any guidance on how to run meetings or what was legal or what notices were, and we got into all kinds of trouble over that.
Marty Rabine will be attending every single board and commission meeting and giving an orientation this year.
But they need orientation too, and
yes, she is. She's going to give it.
This is a great start. I mean, I'm just happy that you started it.
Thank you.
How about, is there enough time to have a little discussion about monthly general meetings or bi-monthly?
If you guys want to have them, yeah, I think that's fine. What's your say, Ray?
Well, I mean, our leadership team's intrigued by it. We're willing to try anything to try to
Thanks,
get
Annette.
more participation. And if it means a monthly meeting where decisions are actually being made.
And I think you really start with your team and trying to figure out those duties. And I think if you lay out the duties and really keep people accountable for what their piece of the puzzle is, that helps a ton on if you can actually accomplish it or not.
I think, and maybe this is just from only having meetings sporadically, the number of times we get repeat customers at our general meetings is very small. I mean, we have the leadership team and then a handful of other people who are regularly involved. And then when we have a general meeting, depending upon what topic it is, we may get 50 people to show up, and we may never see those 50 people ever again. So it's the consistency problem that kind of plagues us. I mean, if we were to replace our monthly leadership team meetings with a general meeting, I guess I could kind of see that. But I mean, basically our leadership team meetings are acting as general meetings.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Well,
that's sort of what
That's what they do too.
mean,
It's sort of like saying if you pay to play, so.
If we don't have a contentious issue, we don't get anybody to show.
Right, and
Our last meeting, we had 3 people that weren't directly associated with the leadership team. 3.
But
And
I
we did
will
a
say-
mailing for $600.
I will say that, and I'm going to make the comparison because they're so different. Billings is not an active community, but because they have consistently over the years, now the very beginning of their general meetings were not attended so well, and it took a lot of time and energy and thought into how to get that information out to people before they started getting a regular attendance of like 30 to 40 people. Not always the same, but 30 to 40 people at every general meeting, and they still do. They've been doing that process for like 7 years now. But they've been having that attendance after, a year or so. Missoula is a very active community, and I think that
how much people are active?
I don't think it is. I think that it's just that they don't know that that's an opportunity every month, or they don't even look into it. There's things that happen every month that I'll look at and I'll say, what's happening? Do I want to go this month? And if there's nothing in it that piques my interest, I don't go that month, but I might go the next. But if I don't know that it's happening, I might not read it. So because I think that we have to think about the fact that there's so much information that people get on a daily basis. But if they can say, well, the 4th Tuesday of every month is this, and I want to see what's happening in my neighborhood, they can look at your website, see if they want to come. And it becomes that thing that they do. People in Missoula, I think every one person is involved in 5 causes, and that doesn't mean that they won't come to neighborhood councils, but they have to know when they are, and if they're sporadic, they might not ever know when they are. Or that they exist, which is what we're going to work on too. So.
And I think there's a whole lot of people that don't like contention. And if they think that the only reason that the meeting is being held is to discuss some contentious issue, they stay away. But if you have something that's going to be informational as far as going on in their neighborhood,
That's where we
and
have
you do
3
that on a
people.
regular basis.
I think it has to be regular. I think that's a
Then you will have, it'll take a while. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, and we face the same issues that you're facing. But I think that it will become ingrained and this is how we need to know people. Kathy's new to our neighborhood, and we've got new people, coming and going a lot, and they're not always aware of what has gone on in the past, or don't necessarily care about that.
Yep. Nathan?
Is there rules as what you can use for enticements? I mean, can you door prices, split the pot? I mean, what do you?
As long as it's ethical, you have a code of ethics as a public body. So if it's ethical, and everybody in your team believes it's ethical, balance it out, then yeah.
And people like to talk, and they don't like to listen. So we have, like at our homeowners meetings, like an open forum at the end of the meetings, like whatever you want to talk about. If you want to get to talk about, your new dog, your new kids, whatever. So maybe that would get people involved.
We just did cookies and coffee.
Yeah, cookies and coffee at the beginning works too. They can have some more at the end. Christine?
I think by having general meetings, it develops a consistency to where someone in your neighborhood is seeing that these things are going on. They can come and even it's a more welcoming arena, I think, for someone to develop an interest. Therefore, you're building community in your neighborhood so that when there are things that are contentious and they're hot, you're already going to have some people who are familiar with you, who feel comfortable, and I just think the energy will make it flow a lot easier.
So are you saying monthly? Oh my God.
Well, I mean, from my personal observation, it's very easy.
We're challenging people to eventually go there.
The same people that you deal with in your leadership team. So you become complacent and think that, well, we're the only ones that are going to do this work, we're the only ones that are going to come, and you're kind of doing a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's really all about encompassing the whole neighborhood. So when you do break up the duties and everyone has a task, that's really important, because then everyone feels a part of the piece and no one's doing the brunt end. It's just something to work towards.
Hans?
Well, I don't think we would have a problem having a monthly meeting. except we'd have to change our mindset and our bylaws on how we go about notifying people for the
Yeah.
meeting, because we don't have a budget to notify people.
Right, does yours just say mailings to notify? Yeah, so you'd have to change it, that's not hard to do. And you know, like I said, maybe a lot of you don't want to do it till after we build some visibility this summer, and we really get out there and start trying to increase the visibility of neighborhood councils in general. But once we do that, then I will challenge you even more to set a regular meeting date so that you don't lose those people. Because once they sign up and they're interested, but then they say, well, they never have meetings, there's nothing to do, or every now and then, and I never know when they are. You know, that's what I hear from other people that I talk to when they say, what do you do for a job now? And these are friends and also just people I run into or people that I don't know that ask me what I do, and I talk to them and they say, well, when do they meet and when can I go and what does that look like? And I say, well, you know, they meet when they can and when there's an issue, and well, how do I find out? Well, there's not any standard way to find out. You know, so there's not that out there. So there's not a way to have those answers to those questions. And then it depends on the neighborhood and where do you live, and I don't have the map in my head and they're on a boundary and I'm like, oh, I don't know, you know. But just trying to figure that out and like doing it as a team of neighborhood councils to try it out, because I think that that's what's going to be most successful. We got to increase the idea of neighborhood councils, and then everybody has one that they should attend. But let's increase the idea of it as a way to be involved.
And, you know, where do people have their meetings? You know, if there's any correlation to, you know, if people, we have our homeowners association meetings at the funeral home. And I have people saying, I'm not going.
Going there. This is Franklin the Forest. This is beautiful. I love this space.
Well, we have our leadership team meetings here, but we use the Catholic Church meeting room.
Oh, that's pretty too. We checked that one out.
The 23rd.
Yeah.
They have a very nice meeting room there, so it is scheduled a lot more often.
Yeah.
So it's a little less accessible, but they're very good about it. Let's use that, and that's a nice venue as well. You don't have to deal with the stairs
Yeah.
issue.
We did turn the elevator on tonight. They showed us how to do it.
Well, I have a hard time getting my leadership team to show up on some.
Well, this question, I guess, is kind of a nitpicky procedural question. If, as a leadership team, can we figure out what like agenda items we're going to have on a general meeting agenda
At a leadership team?
without it being a leadership team meeting? And can we do that outside of the public forum? Can we make decisions like that? Because
As
we've
long
always been like, if we're going to make a decision about something, it has to be a public forum. We never vote on anything unless it's at a leadership team meeting or at a general meeting.
Right. Well, developing an agenda isn't voting on anything. It's just saying, you know, if it's easier for your team to do it via email or via phone call or something like that, or to throw out, well, I remember that, you know, this is our unfinished business. This is the new business people talked about. These are our voting items. And it goes through and somebody develops the agenda, that's fine. You don't have to have a leadership team meeting to develop the agenda. It's just that most often people do. But you don't have to. And that's not, because at your public meeting, people can come up on non-agenda items and say, I've heard that this issue is impacting our neighborhood, I would like it at the next meeting. When you develop your agenda, you'll do that, you'll probably include that. So you don't have to have public comment when you develop an agenda.
Well, it usually takes us like 3 leadership team meetings.
Yep.
An agenda for our general meetings.
Yeah, and this could be like I said, it could be one presentation, discussion, vote, one unfinished item, you know, but always have a presentation of some sort that gives information to the neighborhood about their neighborhood, because that otherwise, you know, you're not helping people learn anything.
Another comment. I think that there are so many things that are often passed by or delivered to the neighborhood as far as the city seeking comment, various staff people. And when you have a meeting once every 6 months, there's very little ability to participate.
So I think we've made that, our leadership team has been out of line on that we comment on those things as a leadership team.
Yeah, it should be. It really ethically should be with the neighborhood. And I understand the time factor, and that's what we're trying to help you guys build a structure for. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. It's 9, so I want to make sure that you get out of here. There are more city guides, government guides, neighborhood handbooks. So if you want to take any of these to members of your leadership team or anything else, feel free to grab some. If you have questions, come up, we can talk some more. If anybody has time to help put chairs and tables away, that would be great. If not, I totally understand. You're welcome. I'm from Billings. I worked with neighborhood councils down there for...
Is that where you grew up?
I did.
Me too.
Through this door, you'll see where they're stacked right now.